Hey, you know what? I'm sick of the big gaming companies, the big movie companies, and all of these companies forgetting what makes them the best. What made them the top company? How they beat all the competition. I swear they've forgotten. Like, first up, Microsoft? Apparently allergic to fun. Like, seriously, they shut down a chance of a Doom X Master Chief collaboration. Now, those two are huge gaming legends. Like, how are you gonna say that you don't want that? That's like saying you want money, and they're saying, no, we don't want tons of money. They're like, nah, we're good. They're like actually trying to kill excitement in the gaming industry recently. They buy up every single company and do jack shit with all of them. They just want the IPs, so they have the choice. I'm pretty sure they own both IPs for Doom and Master Chief. Like, how are you gonna not let your own company do crossover between characters? It's not like crossovers are new. Smash Bros, a Nintendo game, has been doing it for years and people love it. People still play Smash Bros Melee. I feel like you can let one crossover slide, Microsoft. Like, your creativity skills are lacking. Now, talking about Nintendo here, Nintendo actively hates their fans. I mean, like, they are seriously trying to destroy their own fan base. They see everyone making fan games, making videos, and cool things, and even tournaments. They're like, well, I know what I feel like right now? Shutting down all of it, hitting with a hammer, and making sure it doesn't happen. And you think they would be more focused on their eShop that's filled with porn. Like, guys, you gotta have your priorities straight. Like 60% of your eShop's filled with that in the new releases. And your eShop has such a bad layout. Like, I'm surprised you are not struggling more with all the stuff that's happening in your Nintendo Switch. Like, Nintendo's gotta learn sometime that they gotta work with the fans, not against the fans. Like, remember the days when Nintendo actually used to care? Like, it felt like the Nintendo eShop was good. Felt like their games were solid. Like, every Pokemon release wasn't a terrible, laggy mess because their console can't handle more than 60 frames per second. They threw it out the window to crush their fans in their fan games, in the emulators of the games they don't provide. Some of the best games, Mario Galaxy 2, Yarn Yoshi, those are the two games that I think are the peak of Nintendo games. But I can't play them. Why? Because they don't provide them on the Switch. And they shut down every other place that does. At least they have games that are okay. Where DC doesn't even know what they're doing anymore. DC have completely lost their marbles. Like, Kill the Justice League was a bigger blunder than anything that Nintendo's done recently. A live service game, and I think we've learned that live service games aren't always great. This isn't the Arkham series we were promised. This is a hot, steamy pile of shit that they try to pass off as the final of the Arkham series, I'm pretty sure. Because they kill Batman. They woke up one day and said, you know, we've been making awesome games. We've made all the other Arkham games great. You wanna know what we should do today? Wreck it all and create a game that's atrocious. Cause it's not that the graphics are terrible, I'm pretty sure. It's mostly what they did to the game. All the fights are basic. A lot of them repeat. And the way they kill Batman in that game might be atrocious. Like, I think the most atrocious send off to a DC character. He gets shot in the head on a park bench. The guy who apparently is like one of the strongest people without powers gets tied up and shot on a park bench. That is the worst send off you could probably do to the Arkham Batman. That voice actor isn't alive anymore. He died in real life. And that was his final game that he was going to voice. And they send him off like that? They couldn't have done something better. Like, it's atrocious. Like, at least their films are doing better than Marvel's are currently. Because dear Marvel, what happened? How do you go from the greatest cinematic universe to whatever the hell you're doing now? The moment Endgame ended, the moment that critic screen showed up, it was like the creativity team just said we're done. Drop the ball, and they have butterfingers now. They can't even pick up the ball. Like, everything that came after, What If had some great ideas, had the potential, but they shot down whatever was the best ideas. Like, they could have explored really cool possibilities, but they said, nah, and just decided to pump out TV show after TV show that, in all honesty, weren't that great. Like, they release some movies now, but not nearly enough, and not nearly at the degree that they should be. Like, Marvel is part of Disney, and Disney is one of the biggest movie sites in the world. Like, the biggest movie creator. And they just don't know what to do anymore. It's not like they don't have ideas, but they refuse to pick the ones that would be great. Like, look at these companies digging themselves into holes and not trying to be creative. If any of them tried to be any sort of creative, I think they do well. They had to have come here from a small company. They just lost those roots. They lost what the indie developers have. They've lost the spark. The spark to do anything anymore. And I think they need to learn a lesson. Like, Nintendo needs to learn to treat their fans with respect. Marvel needs to learn to trust in making new movies and bring new characters. DC needs to focus on whatever is happening that makes their games so atrocious. Microsoft just needs to have a little fun, man. Like, every single one of these companies have decided they're no fun anymore. That they don't have the spark that they used to have. Like, it's not just Microsoft itself that are having issues. Like Call of Duty, they may have released Black Ops 6, but the amount of games and failures they've had in recent years makes me question why Microsoft bought them. Like, sure, they make tons of money, but I feel like Black Ops 6 is kind of mid right now. I stopped playing that game for a long while. I still am not playing it right now. Because they took all the skins away. Like, the skins I used to wear in Modern Warfare 3, they took them out of Black Ops 6. And I'm like, I'm not going to play a game without all the skins I've spent my money on. Like, it's crazy how all these big companies are just not doing well at this point. I find indie games more fun recently. Like, Atriox, new Get to Work game, it's annoying, but it's hella fun. Like, somebody's gotta say when it's time that these companies start failing so they can realize how much they need to improve their act. Like, it's just sad at this point. Like, I have way more fun playing indie games these days since they have more heart and more soul. They work much harder. They have so much more to lose, so they must make a good game. And they aren't against their fans, because they're smaller creators. They know that they need to work hard for people to play their games. Because in the indie market, you don't get that many people playing your game unless your game's good. Unlike DC with their saturated games and Nintendo with their saturated games, because there will always be Nintendo fans who eat all the Nintendo slop that they get on their plate and will still say it's good. No matter how bad the game is. No matter if the game runs at 3 FPS, there will be one person who will still defend Nintendo. There will be lots of people who still defend Nintendo. Nintendo is insane. An indie developer doesn't have the same extreme fan base that will defend them till the last server is up. There are some people who ride Nintendo till the end of Nintendo. Like, until they would be shut down, they will ride Nintendo like a goddamn horse. And I feel like indie games are better. They somehow outcompete the huge companies. Like, I don't know how they manage to do this. They are so incredible. Like, Nintendo needs to take notes. Everyone needs to take notes. Microsoft needs to take notes. DC needs to take notes. How the indie developers are doing it. Like, Stardew Valley, I'm pretty sure was made by one guy. And that, I think, is one of my favorite games I've played. And Terraria, when it was being made, it was a small company. And Terraria, I think, is my favorite game ever. So, indie developers are the heart and soul of the gaming companies right now. Like, they put so much. And I think this is where my rant's going to end. But I will make videos on as many blunders as I notice that these companies do. So, I'll see you next time. I'm out. These companies needs to get their shit together.